In 1996, he said, content is king. And if you created content, people consumed it. But fast forward to today, I believe content is not king, and I have some data to back this up.
This last interview, I actually managed to, well, I luckily managed to get him. Apparently he only flew in the day before, so he looks jet lagged and tired, but if you haven't heard of Neil Patel, trust me, go look him up. Quite the avant-garde outlier when it comes to at least digital marketing and leveraging data for it. So I'm glad at least I get to interview him. Well, the interview is actually going to happen and it's going to get done.
A few moments later.
I've been following your accounts for a while, and I see you as the outlier when talking so much about the digital marketing side. I don't believe this traditional thing what's been going on, but you take the off the least walked path, especially seeing how digital has changed over the years. And I want to understand, now that we have, instead of search, it's now discovery, which TikTok and all have done. What do you think is next? Or do you see search now getting absorbed into discovery?
I think they're merged, and they're starting to become merged. TikTok now has search. When you search on Google, they also start showing you reels and shorts and all these kind of things. There's going to be a merge. And you're even seeing it even more with AI. You can now just ask a question and it creates a response from you using AI. You're going to see a merge of a lot of these technologies. But what's funny is, to go back to your earlier point, I actually think I'm taking I'm taking the least resisted path. I'm taking the easiest one. If you look at majority of the spend in marketing, it is actually digital. It is not traditional anymore. But it depends which country you're in, because certain countries are slower to adapt than others. But it is all migrating to digital. It's just a question of when.
And you know, when it comes to, just going back to things like TikTok, and recently they've been inking partnerships so that when you search on Google, like you said, you'll see TikToks and Reels. And now recently I just saw Reddit.
They have a partnership with Google.
I was like,
because they filed to go public, and they just announced that they're getting quite a bit of money from search.
Yeah, it's like, Google has, do you think Google has failed creating their own social network when they did Buzz and then Google Plus?
It didn't work. Just because you have a big audience doesn't mean they want other stuff from you. Now, I'll give you a prime example of this. Google has their notebooks, I think it's called. It's like an iPad competitor alternative.
Yeah, Chromebooks and all.
Chromebooks or something like that. In a lot of parts of the world, they're really popular. In certain parts, like I live in California, no one uses Chromebooks. Maybe people who work at Google, but there's different markets. In some markets, you'll find winners. In some markets, you'll find losers for the same exact product. Google Lenses, consumers, probably a hard time to adapt. Technology is not there where they want it. But in the medical field, could do really well.
Going to a point of content. Right now, content has now evolved to the point that, I'm guessing you've now seen mixed reality headsets like the Meta Quest and then Apple Vision Pro. Do you see that also somehow fitting into this whole definition of content? Because now things will no longer just be about words. It's all about vision and sound.
I think it is, and it's been migrating that way for a long time. If you look at the popularity of videos, people consume them more than they're consuming text. Look how much time people are spending on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. It's more than they are reading a blog post, right? Does it mean blog post is bad? No. You got to produce all formats. And, even podcasting is becoming more and more popular. It just takes time.
And, a good point you mentioned about podcasting and blogs, because literally when, like you said, people don't read much, but they'll consume anything which is watched more. But even when you talked about your 4 points, it's you test it out on X, and then you follow a chain. So I was like, will that still be effective? Because I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading blogs.
It's very effective, because what people read and what causes them to engage is similar to when you watch a video, and if they're saying the same thing, it's the same type of words that cause them to engage or not engage. Look, when I take a post that wins on X and I create a short from it, I'm reading the words word for word, sentence by sentence. I'm not changing anything up. And what works on X is working on the rest of the platforms. What doesn't work on X doesn't typically work on the other platforms as well. Engagement. What gets their attention is the hook. It's the first line in any piece of content. It's either it's great or it's terrible. It doesn't matter if it was written or it doesn't matter if you speak it.
I mean, okay, so let's expand a bit more on that. I mean, like, video content. I mean, right now, like you said, short form, long form, and polished, unpolished. Because a lot of brands out there, they have an image to maintain, and they may not go for the unpolished route. But what I've seen is that, and on my own, is like you said, pick up the camera, post it, put it on mobile. Next thing you know is like the algorithm probably sees, oh, you're filming it on mobile. I'm going to rank you up even higher, and it just starts showing it to more people. But if it looks so polished, it's like, it doesn't look authentic. And now, especially with AI permeating into every single tool, whether it's in making tools and everything as such.
People want realistic content.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a great example of this. I flew from LAX to Qatar. You know what airline I use? Qatar Airways. But do you know how I decided which airline to use? Because I could also went through Dubai and took a connection. I Googled what their seats were like. And when I was on Qatar Airways, it was a really professionally created video of their Q suite, okay? That did not convince me to buy the ticket. You know what convinced me? I went on YouTube and someone showed what it's like to fly in the Q suite, and I booked it from that. It was a realistic video. I didn't want to see $100,000 professionally created video, professionally edited of what the Q suite was like. I wanted just a normal consumer to be like, this is what it's like.
Wow. Okay, that's a thing.
Because when it's professionally edited, a potential customer doesn't know what it's really like. It's professionally edited. You can modify the video however you want. When a consumer talks about their real experience and it doesn't come from the corporation, that's a real case study or that's a real testimony of what you're truly going to experience.
Short form content. I mean, you have TikToks, you have Instagram Reels, you have...
Oh, wait, and by the way, the video that convinced me was a short form version of what the Q suite was like. The highly produced one was too long. I'm like, just tell me how good it is. I got the information in 30 seconds. I'm like, sounds good. I booked the ticket.
Just building on that. So, which platform? I mean, with the data you've shown, which platform do you think is the best when it comes to short form content, and why?
I believe they all are. If you created one short form video, they all accept it. Just put it on everywhere and get the most play you can from it. I'm platform agnostic. I understand LinkedIn may give you more love right now because they lack content, but you already created the content. It works on LinkedIn, it works on TikTok, it works on YouTube, it works on Facebook. When I create my short form content, I get the least amount of love from Facebook. But you know what? I post it every time on Facebook. Why? I already created it. There's no extra cost to post it on Facebook. If a video does extremely well on LinkedIn and Instagram, it still probably doesn't do that well on Facebook. But I still post it on there. Because why? It gets some love. Some is better than zero.
Okay, let me ask a bit more about the content sites. Like, blogs, text, videos, photos. Let's say I'm a company. Which one should I pay more attention and give more focus on?
I think that's the wrong way to look at it. You should pay attention to all of them, because if I create one text-based content like a tweet or a post on X, I can read it word for word and now I have a short form video. Or if I'm doing an interview like this, I got audio version for a podcast, I got a long form video, I can cut up the video into shorts, and I can take parts of the transcript and convert it into a blog post. You should be repurposing. It's not about which one is better, it's what kind of format can I produce that's the least amount of work, and then it solves the content creation for all the different types of formats.
Where do you see social media going? I mean, or is it now even social media anyways, given, we have so many?
I see there being a huge divergence from social and search. Google will still look like Google, TikTok will still look like TikTok, but you can search on TikTok, you can find actually those videos and consume them on Google. You're seeing the platforms kind of integrate the features. One may look like a search engine, one may look like a social platform, but they're getting you in. The search engine is getting you in because they know you're searching, but they're showing you social features. The social network is getting you in because they're a social platform, but they're providing you search features as well.
You know, okay, let's say I'm a business. I mean, right now all these social platforms have been putting a lot of commerce or features.
Yeah, so you can start selling.
You know, in a way, I mean, right now the new trend is live shopping. So, you know, on live streaming, and you basically promoting products to buying it.
Depending on which country you're in. Really popular in places like Asia,
Yeah.
not as popular in the United States. But yes, it still is a trend, but it's more popular and it's adapted much more and accepted more in certain countries over others.
But when it comes to the traditional shopping platform wise, I mean, you know, who do you think is doing it best, or at least is getting close enough to it?
So sure, you've been able to do live shopping on Facebook for a long time. For many years, it's nothing new. TikTok's done a decent job with integrating shopping in there. Instagram has done a great job as well. I don't really look at it as like, who's the best? Whatever one does that works, the rest are just gonna copy. And they're not gonna copy in a year, they're gonna copy in like a month or two. It ends up being where all the platforms eventually have the features.
But then also, I mean, if you've seen in the US, I think TikTok has started doing a little bit of the logistics side for, I think, shipping books. You know, as I've seen it, like, you know, they're like taking book orders and they'll just do the fulfillment from start to finish. Is that something you'll see even platforms say, you know what, this works? Maybe we'll start doing this in a few countries and just see how well it goes, because that suddenly starts eating into
Shipping.
exactly.
You know, what these platforms do is they test, and if something works and it makes them more money and consumers want it, it has to make money in the long run or be profitable in the long run. Then they do it and they roll it out, and all the other ones copy because it works. You think Facebook was like, yes, we need to do short form videos. They did it because that's what the consumers wanted. They adapt to what consumers want. If they don't, they lose audience. They have no choice but to adapt.
Well, two questions now remaining. I've been seeing people are like, okay, I think I've had enough of doing public. Not everyone is going into these private more and messaging and even broadcast channels. Let's say I was like, Instagram has broadcast channel. WhatsApp has launched broadcast channel. Now I'm like, okay, so Facebook's next. Then I'm like, who's gonna do this? So now, is social now moving towards more to being private one way, rather than being a conversation that we've seen in the past years?
I actually think they're trying to open it up and be more of a conversation. So like the live videos that they're doing and they're pushing it, I can interact both ways in real time. See, social is technically two-way engagement, but if I create content, you leave a comment, there's no guarantee I see it. If I'm live, there's a higher chance that I see you engaging with me and I can engage back in real time. Broadcast, similar. It's like them doing their version of messaging on Facebook. There's no guarantee the other person sees the message, right? It's like I can send an email, there's no guarantee that someone sees it. They're just creating features based on what they think people want, and whatever works, works. It literally is like spaghetti. They're just throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall, and whatever sticks is what they focus on.
You know, last year was the year of AI, and because everyone was running after that trend as such. 2024,
It'll still be the trend of AI.
why?
Because AI is not a fad. It actually changes business and makes them way better. And the AI technology we saw last year is just scratching the surface. You're going to see AI as a trend for many years because the technology is getting better at a very rapid pace. The AI technology right now sucks compared to what it will be 6 months from now, or even a year from now.
So you think it'll make marketers more savvier and smarter, or suddenly it'll be like, okay, why do I need an actual digital marketer when
It'll make them savvier and smarter. It's going to be hard to replace a human. Look at all the content that it creates. It's regurgitated. It doesn't perform well. Don't believe me? Try it out. You won't get the results you're looking for.
And with that, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
A few moments later.
More generic on business, business way. So you run NP Digital. It's an agency. You're helping out businesses on how they should be doing stuff better way. So when you take your idea of understanding a business, going to them like, hey, you've been doing it wrong. You've hired us to help you out. It could be for a period of 6 months, a year. You run services with them. You teach them. You train them. and then you leave. In a general world, how much do you expect an marketing company, an agency, any big corporation to keep following what you have taught them? And when they stop doing that, like, do you feel like, have I done enough to make sure they do better? Or do you feel like it wasn't the best thing?
Sure. So we teach people and we educate, but we don't expect them to do it. If they want to do it, they can do it. If they don't have to. We also don't charge for the information. It's free. On the agency end, we're going in there and actually doing the work. And the reason that happens is a lot of companies don't actually take the information and do it on their own. So we implement what we teach and we just do it for the corporations, and they should get results for it and it should be a positive ROI. And on the flip side, if you're a startup or entrepreneur, take what you're getting out there and use it. The biggest issue entrepreneurs have is it's not learning or information. They have a lot of it. They got to pick and choose and actually take action and consistently take action. And you can't convince them to do it. Either they're going to do it or they're not. It's up to them.
It's up to them. You're going to help them out as much as you can, and people need to benefit from it because it's something they're not receiving from elsewhere. Just to probably close on travel, the topic of travel, I just heard you had an experience coming in. You're going to probably experience something going out as well. In the travel industry, you have a lot of online travel agencies, airlines, and many other institutions trying to sell you an experience. As you said, like, you had to watch a $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 long marketing video, which does not convince you enough to say, like, would I want this experience? Do you think the world is moving towards an era where we have come way far away from traditional marketing, such as newspaper ads, to TV ads, social media ads, and now to short movies, short films, TikToks? Do you think this would be the next travel trend where people are looking or building upon experience of someone else?
No, they already are. Look how many people are traveling based on the Instagram reels that they're seeing for all these destinations.
Yeah.
In a 30-second clip, people are showing their cool trip, or 1 minute. And you're starting now to get people like, I'm going to go travel to Bali and enjoy that because I saw so many videos like this on TikTok or Instagram. It's already starting to change. What you're slowly starting to see is companies adapting those content formats, and now they're starting to encourage people to create more of them because it's causing more revenue.
So do you think this is where the companies would be playing catch up?
They are.
Should they actually go ahead of the curve and say, like, hey, we're already there and come and join us?
They should go ahead of the curve, but that's not happening. They're already playing catch up for most corporations.
Thank you so much. I think that's interesting to learn as well.
Now that I have your attention, I've put together some quick bites from Neil's talk.
We track over 7 billion keywords, and in the last 30 days, 94.29% of the web pages got no traffic, not even one click from Google. Doesn't matter what keyword. And in the last 30 days, those 5,204,000 pieces of content on the social web got no engagement. I'm talking about no likes, no shares. When we surveyed a little bit more than 1,000 marketers, 640 of them use AI to create their content, fully AI, no human involvement or anything. Another 282 use AI combined with humans. And then when we surveyed people if they can tell the difference between AI content or not, most people can't. Although they feel that AI content produced by Gemini is a little bit higher quality. 1.27 billion of those searches are new searches for keywords that have never been typed into Google ever before. Each day, 15% of the searches are brand new words that no one's ever typed in. And roughly 680 million of the searches are people asking questions. That's why you see sites like Quora showing up for a lot of searches. You get 11.41% more repeat visitors. You get 48.43% more backlinks. That's other websites like journalist sites linking to you. 194% more organic social traffic. 292% more brand queries. That's people typing in your brand name on search engines. And an 8.16% higher conversion rate. But here's the cool thing about blogging. You don't have to produce a lot of content, and it doesn't have to be long in length. There's a big disparity of content created by AI and humans, because content by humans has something called EAT, EEAT. Experience, expertise, authority, and trust. See, the way AI works is it scrapes the whole web. You type in a query and it'll give you a response based on what's already out there on the web. When you engage with content on social or search or whatever it may be, you like seeing new stuff. If you don't see new stuff, what do? You swipe and you keep going. For every human out there, there's roughly one blog for every 7 people that exist in this world. But there's roughly only one podcast for every 1,577 people. Podcasting is a big open opportunity. It's ripe for disruption. When we actually surveyed people and looked at data, we analyzed over 102,000 reels. 75.6% of them weren't edited all beautiful or had crazy graphics or anything. It just shows you ugly, boring stuff is doing well. So you don't have to go and spend too much time. You can literally just take out your phone, record, and put it online. As long as the information you're giving, the knowledge you're giving is great, or it's funny or entertaining. Some of the social sites like Instagram or Facebook may be the sexiest, but the ones that are getting the most organic reach are platforms that we may not be talking about, like LinkedIn. See, LinkedIn doesn't have tons of people posting content on a daily basis. They're craving for content. So what do? If you post content, they're going to give you more traffic.